the mic, talking day and spilling life, from trending memes to wildest dreams. Girl, did you hear that crazy thing? Girl, did you hear what's going down? We're lighting up this whole damn town. Strange and trending every week. Bestie vibes that'll never peak.
Right. He's got duct tape and saran wrap in weird places.
Yeah. And he is skinny and not looking real good.
No.
Jodi is a therapist leading people to religiously believe that they need to torture their children.
Yeah, that's
literally who Jodi is.
Porn is equal to cocaine in the LDS church.
They were singing hymns on the way to jail in the car together.
Yeah. Love that.
So ridiculous.
Bound to the end.
Hey guys, welcome to Girl Did You Hear?
The ultimate bestie hangout. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kristen. Today is episode 72. Doo-doo-doo-doo. We are almost at 100.
I know.
I mean, we still have a little ways to go.
I mean,
but
30's pretty close.
we're like 3/4 of the way there.
We are.
That's crazy, bro.
This has been such a great adventure.
I know. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
We do appreciate your support. We have a very interesting one for you today. This is called The Evil Influencer on Netflix. This Jodi Hildebrandt story. And I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard this before, but it is a wild story.
It is.
And I'm just going to preface that the way that they filmed this documentary was very bouncy. And it jumped around a lot.
It made me mad.
It was kind of hard to watch, actually, because I was like,
it was not good.
And funny, oddly enough, we both realized that we had probably watched this before, like when it had initially came out,
Right, and ran
or
into
heard the
same
story.
issue. Yeah,
I definitely heard this. Remember hearing about this story.
right, same.
It starts out super weird. Like it goes right into the scene.
Right, where they find the little boy.
The little boy.
Mhm.
So essentially, this little boy is going from house to house. And the dispatcher gets the phone call from this guy, and he's saying that a little boy is coming to my house, and he has duct tape around his arms and wrists, and he's asked me to call the police.
Right, he's got duct tape and saran wrap in weird places.
Yeah, and he is skinny and not looking real good.
No, no.
And the gentleman on the phone told the dispatcher, the 911, that the little boy told them that he deserved these injuries.
Yeah, which is
and I'm
wild.
like, what?
Wait a minute.
Like what?
He told the cops that he needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would be better off there. And we're like, okay. So the cops are like, WTF, what is going on? Of course. And so this takes place, that call went out on August 30th, 2023. Is when that happened. And so the police get to the scene and they start, talking to the boy and trying to figure out what the F is going on. The police do get a safety check. They couldn't get a warrant for the house, but they were able to get what they called a safety check to go check the house from where the little boy came from.
Right.
Which the gentleman's house that little boy ended up at told the police that he came from Jodi Hildebrandt's house, which was their neighbor.
Right.
And that they didn't particularly like Jodi all that much.
They weren't the best of neighbors.
Yeah. And that they were always had weird concerns of what Jodi was doing and what was happening over there and stuff like that. So as the police, I have to look at my notes a lot for this one, guys, because there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of notes. Yeah.
So as the police get the safety check of the house, they're knocking on the door. They pull Jodi out of the house. She's on the phone. She's like startled, like, what the F's going on? Like, do you guys have a warrant? Like, kind of freaking out, agitated, kind of. And they're like, is there anybody else in the house? Because the little boy told the police that he had a little sister that he hadn't seen in over a month, and she was in the house.
Right.
What the hell?
So all they had to do was just go through the house, and I mean, I can't believe they found her.
Yeah. So they find this little girl in the closet upstairs. And this little girl has a shaved head and she's skinny and she's just sitting there, and the police officer is trying to talk to her and she's not really talking at first and she's just scared and, just like, what the F? Like,
Yeah.
And these police officers are like, what the F? Like,
Right.
And so as they are kind of doing that safety check on the house, one of the main officers during the investigation, her name is Jessica Bate.
I saw that.
She comes across on YouTube, like doing some research. She comes across, okay, hold on, backtrack for 1 second. The reason she had to do research is because they found out that these kids in the house were not
Jody's.
No.
They're not Jody's kids.
No.
So they're like, whose kids are they?
Correct.
And then they told Jessica to check the 8 passengers on YouTube. I don't know if that's what that's called, but
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So 8 Passengers was a YouTube channel, and they were like a family vloggers or whatever, you know?
Right.
And the main person of that was Franke, was the mom of that family.
Right.
And they had 6 kids,
It was
husband, wife.
Ruby, Frankie, Kevin, Frankie, and then the 6 kids.
Correct.
Right.
And so Jessica, the police officer, found this YouTube channel and she's like, well, this is interesting, where's all these other kids at?
Right.
Because they only found
there's 6 of
2.
them, and there's only 2 that we found so far.
Correct. And so initially, that's literally what the police thought. Like,
Right.
where's the other kids? So they did some investigating and they found that 2 of the kids, that some of the families didn't even live in Utah. And they did find in Springville, in Ruby's house, they went to look for the kids.
Right.
There, they did not find kids, but they did find a bunch of go bags for the kids and a bunch of things packed and stuff. So that was really suspicious to them. Between that, they also found the middle children of the 6.
Mm-hmm.
Where there was 2 middle children there with a family friend. And they got taken down to the police station, I believe, first, to get spoken to or whatever.
Right.
And then during all of that, Ruby's husband, Kevin, shows up at the police station, like on his own.
Right.
Which was kind of weird initially. And the police thought that was weird too. They're like, why did you come here?
Who told you to come down here?
Yeah. And he's like, I just got a call that I needed to come get my
they
kids.
Didn't tell us
yeah.
Initially.
No. So then the police start asking Kevin how Ruby knows Jodi.
Right.
And he's like, oh, because they do a podcast together called Connections with an X.
Right.
And so then the police look into that and they find that Jodi, that Connections is basically a church-based therapy program that offers group meetings, life coaching, and so forth, and helping people live life in Christ through the LDS community. Correct?
Right.
This
is the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yes.
So this is in Utah, and this is a very huge.
I didn't realize it was like that.
Utah is the land of the LDS, right?
Yeah, I didn't know it was like that
population. And so Jodi takes advantage of all of this. The LDS faith is very conservative.
Extremely.
And so she grew up in an LDS home.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's living on these values of how she was raised. She went on missions and things. So she's like taking advantage of how strict the LDS religion is. And she's like, oh, I've got therapy. I can help these people.
Yeah. So a little background on Jodi is she does have a degree in psychology. And she does have a license to be a therapist.
Correct.
Later on, there's some discrepancies with that, which we'll talk about. But so the police find this group, right? This company that she has that's ran by Jodi. So around this time in the show, a few of Jodi's former clients start coming into play and start talking about her therapies. And some of them initially talked about how they had helped and what her, goals were and so forth, and her, intentions for her clients, right?
Right.
Over time, their perspectives change a little bit. And then also around this time, the police are going back to Jodi's house now with the search warrant.
Right.
And the reason they have the search warrant is because, they found the little boy, the little girl, now all these other things. So now that they have the search warrant, they're actually in there looking for evidence, because before they couldn't really look at anything in an evidential manner.
They were just in there for like a search
to find the girl.
Yeah, the search
that was
for the
it.
Kid.
Yeah. So they found garbage cans overflowing with like
the saran wrap and duct tape.
Yeah.
That the little boy was wearing when he showed up at the guy's house.
All of that stuff, like the dressings from like all the wounds and like all the care for that. They found all of that stuff. They found plastic wrap. They found rope. They found the duct tape. They found all types of crazy ass shit.
They were basically finding things just leading up to like, this is how these children were treated. These children are being detained. Their wounds are being treated with honey and cayenne pepper. That is not something I would ever think or read in any weird little homeopathy book somewhere and be like, oh, that's a great idea to dress those with wound. That sounds like that hurts.
Yeah, cayenne pepper on a wound does not sound like something I would want to put on there as a healing agent.
No, and I get it. Like honey, it does have antibacterial properties.
Honey, I could understand.
And I think cayenne pepper also does have some
but I feel like that would be really
tissue
painful.
healing. Yeah, I don't think that's what I would use to treat my children.
I feel like there's other things you could get even from this store.
Like
besides
I don't know, hydrogen peroxide, Neosporin, any one of those.
Something.
I mean, even though Neosporin's a no now, it wasn't 2023.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So they also find in Utah where they're living. So let me just paint the picture real quick. So this is in Ivins, I think is how you pronounce it. Ivins City, Utah.
Yeah.
Or it might be Ivins. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Either way. It's in the desert. These houses are huge.
Huge houses, huge lots.
I think they said at 10,000 square foot house.
Square foot house. Like,
and there's levels. And like multiple basement levels even. Right. And like when they were looking around in this house, I was like, Jesus Christ, it looks like a doomsday bunker in the basement of this house.
Right. They did mention that she was kind of a prepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had tons of prep stuff, but even just like there was nothing down there in the basement.
Right.
Except for like the prep stuff in some of the rooms. And then there was that weird safe that they found.
The safe room? Yeah.
And so the police come across this safe room. And it has like the old school, like tourney, whatever.
The door literally looks like a safe where you would stash your like firearms or money or anything of importance.
Yes. And so obviously it's locked. The cops asked Jodi what the code is. She's like,
I haven't been there in years.
Haven't opened in years, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my gosh,
and so the cops are like messing around with it. And he's like, let me just punch in this random code. He punches in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the fucking thing opens.
It opens.
Like, are you kidding me? And he even was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you forget to reset the default code?
How fucking dumb are you?
What happened there? Yeah, that was hard.
So they're thinking they're gonna open a safe. It's a whole room.
Right.
Like a safe room.
Right.
Like a panic room.
Literally a safe room.
And inside that room, they found like tethers and handcuffs and ropes.
Like this is what the little boy was bound in.
Yes. They also obviously there's, massive amounts of abuse and torturous things happening here.
It just goes to show that there's not good stuff happening in this house.
Around 4:23 p.m. that day, Ruby Franke arrives to the house. And she has like no emotion. She's like stone cold.
It's weird. She's kind of catatonic.
Yeah, like has a blank face. Like didn't ask where the kids were, not once.
No,
these are her children.
Kids. Yeah.
Didn't ask the police where her kids were. Didn't ask any questions about what they were doing around the house. She said nothing.
Well,
she
Jodi
sat on the couch.
Coached her.
I'm sure. But like she just sat on the couch and said nothing.
It was wild to watch.
Yeah. And so around that time as well, sorry, I keep saying that, but it's like they keep jumping back and forth.
So this is where the documentary screws us, folks. The timeline on this thing is so whiplash.
It is.
So if it feels like we're going from following the case to telling about Jodi to following the case. It's because of the way this documentary is laid out. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just hard to
process it,
keep it linear, if you will.
Yeah. So that's why, we're going in the way that the story's going.
So while Ruby's sitting there, she's not given any emotion as the cops are going through her house trying to find incriminating evidence to prove that this lady is abusing her kids.
Correct. And Jodi is, so there's an attorney that's also kind of helped narrating throughout this documentary.
Yeah.
His name is Eric Clark, and he's the Washington County attorney. I don't know really his involvement, but that's what he was labeled as, Washington County. I don't know how he got into Utah, but that's besides the point. But he had made a comment that I wrote down that I thought was very strong. And he was like, Jodi is a therapist leading people to religiously believe that they need to torture their children.
Yeah, that's
literally who Jodi is and what she has done and what her business connections is about, essentially.
Yeah. Well, and not only is she abusing people, kids, she's abusing people.
Yes. And so around this time as well, another person comes into play to share some information throughout the show, Natasha Heffler, which is a licensed therapist with Mormons and has actually worked with a lot of Jodi's prior clients.
Right.
And had heard some things from those clients that were really odd about the way that Jodi went about her therapeutic sessions or different things. Bless you. Different things that she was teaching them or trying to help them heal from or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that lady thought it was
bizarre
super
therapy practices.
Yeah, just strange. So basically around the early 2000s is when really Jodi takes her business of connections and really she's so smart in the business aspect of it because she found the exact niche that she needed to market to.
That's what I'm saying. She just honed in on the right market.
She did. So as we mentioned earlier, the LDS community is extremely conservative to the point of that they swear that any sexual act of any kind prior to marriage, even during marriage, some things can be considered an addiction.
Or deviance.
Or deviance. Or
that you don't
a
need
sin of...
the LDS church is very strict. If you are watching porn or if you are doing things that give yourself
satisfaction
manually, that's bad.
Pleasures,
yeah.
All of that is bad. They are made to believe that is bad. They are made to believe that is an addiction and that you should not be doing that. And you are a disgusting human being.
You are disgracing your family.
Those things,
looking at things,
anything that, for looking at a male or woman in a lustful way and having a thought about them or thinking that someone else is attractive or good looking,
right?
Is a completely against their beliefs. And so when people grow up with those strong beliefs and they have difficulties in their relationships, they try to seek out help, obviously, like normal people do. Some people, seek out therapy help, whatever, for couples, right? Yeah. And so a lot of couples came across, this connections business and came across Jodi because she marketed to that community in the sense of she was
recommended by the
therapist.
Yeah, no, she was
by the bishop.
By the bishop.
And in that community, if the bishop says something, you believe it. And if the bishop refers someone to you for something, you go. And that is what you do.
Yeah, their word is law.
100%. And so that is literally, that's how she got into that whole thing and really started finding couples that had vulnerabilities with that in their marriages.
Right, which is probably a lot or most of the couples in that religion.
Yes, 100%. And it's just natural shit, guys. Jesus Christ, come on. Anyways.
Yeah. I wrote down porn is equal to cocaine in the LDS church.
Love that. It's gonna clip that. So yes, Jodi was a part of the bishop's list, basically for helping people with sexual addictions.
Yeah.
And she would counsel men and women, and she would charge them thousands of dollars for these individual counsel sessions.
Right.
Hourly sessions. There were people that were talking to her daily, and she was charging them daily for it. These people were spending more in therapy sessions with Jodi than they were on the mortgage for their houses.
Right.
Like $50K plus.
Which
some of
is
these
wild
clients
because she's even
dropped.
pushing boundaries that therapists shouldn't even do, because she's
No.
like the therapist for the mom, dad, and the kids.
Correct.
And she's the therapist, she's like crossing those boundaries that as a therapist, you don't. There's the rules against that.
Yeah.
I giggled my buttons off when I heard she got her therapist license revoked because of HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that she sold that guy out,
That's fucked.
that's super fucked. I was like, you're a therapist. You keep that on lock, man.
She publicly told people about a client of hers, and it was like
She went and told his job and the church, and he was ousted.
Yeah. And that's not okay.
That's bad for that guy.
So they're like like I said, some of her clients saw her weekly. One of the guys, Ethan, was one of the main guys in the show, and he was talking a lot about, his experience with Jodi and stuff and how things had changed. And like something that's really big also in that community is they journal a lot.
Yeah, it's
like,
a part of
it's a part of their daily habits.
Yeah.
It's they journal everything. So Ethan journaled a lot and had saw things like throughout his sessions and moments where he had wrote down like, I don't want to do this, or
why am I here?
I just want to see my kid. Because over time, Ethan was describing that Jodi would often create a separation between him and his wife, him and his kid, and she would do that in other parts of her, life, other people in her life. Like she did that with Ruby and Ruby's husband as well, And so it was just one of her little tactics, to kind of get in there and isolate that person to make them feel like they had something wrong with them.
Yeah, that's manipulative.
Was so fucked up.
Right.
So also around the time of, I'm sorry, not around the time. Jumping back to August 30th now.
Let me hold your neck, folks.
I know, my neck is sore.
From all and then
the police were back in the police station, and we're talking with Ruby's husband, Kevin, again. And they're just kind of trying to get some more information out of him, just kind of feel his vibe and stuff. And he says that they've been in business together since 2021, Jodi and Ruby. And he's also like starting to hear some of like the news of kind of like what's going on. He's like dumbfounded.
Yeah. Well,
he has
he's
no
finding
clue
out
of what's
about,
going
what
on.
happened to his kids.
Right. And so during the time of him, of all of this, he was not at the house because he's separated from Ruby at this time.
Because Jodi
told him that they needed to be separated.
Right.
And even though he had no contact with Ruby, Jodi had contact with him every single day, he said. He was in contact with Jodi every day, but he could not talk to his kids and could not talk to his wife.
Right.
But he talked to Jodi every day.
Right.
And she would do this with everybody in her little circle, it comes to find out. They start interviewing Ruby and Jodi, or they try to, I should say. And they ain't
both
talking.
lawyer up.
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
lawyer
I want
up
my lawyers.
immediately.
I don't need it. I don't want it. I ain't talking to you.
Nope. Jodi tries to say some stupid stuff like, I'd love to tell you guys what's really going on.
But I don't know you.
But I don't know you. I don't really know you guys. And my lawyer's not here. And I don't really trust. And I know how you guys always flip things and blah, 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 blah. And I work in psychology and I sat on the other side of that table. So I know how it goes. And I'm like, shut up, lady.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. So then that's when it gets to the point of where they tell us about Jodi's therapy license, which we already touched on.
Love that.
And I still can't believe she did that. Such a shitty thing. So the reason in her connections business, she operated as a life coach instead of a therapist.
Right. That's how she got away.
That's how she got away around it.
Because like the way that the LDS church encourages their members to promote their religion. Basically, when they go on missions, the mission is to convert people to LDS, which is great.
Yes.
That's fine. I understand that's how your God works.
And how your community grows.
Good for you.
Yeah.
But so Jodi was using her, because they're huge on the internet at this point. This is when like YouTube is really starting to pay people to post. And this is when YouTube is getting huge.
Very big.
Right? Like influencers are big. Influencers are big in Utah because that's how people like show how faithful they are. And Jodi basically took the internet and used it as her platform for her mission.
Yes.
So she can't get hung up on the fact that there's like, oh, oopsies, there's no more therapist license. She just pivots. She just calls it something else, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's hard to
because there's no license for a life coach.
No, you don't need to be a licensed life coach.
Like what even is that?
Is there such a license?
Maybe. I don't think so. Maybe there is. Maybe there should be.
Right.
Because there's a lot of life coaches out there that claim to be life coaches.
Right. Perspective.
Yes. So a lot of the people that are speaking about Jodi and their experiences, they describe Jodi as like a shapeshifter, which is a perfect word for her, I think. Because she kind of shapes who she is based off who she's around,
right?
And what she says and what she does and different things. And she would use a lot of different words. Like, there was this one word, distortion.
Yeah.
That she would use to like implant in your brain as like a bad thing.
You're
like,
distorted.
You're distorted. And you know, all of these things that you're doing are creating this distortion. Right. And I'm like, what does that even fucking mean, lady?
You're not seeing the true light.
She's crazy.
Dude.
She told Ruby's
husband, Kevin,
to move out, essentially.
And he did.
He's been
He was separated from them for a while.
Yeah. I want to say like a year.
Yeah. I was going to say 7 months to a year.
Yeah. So yeah, Jodi told Ruby's husband, Kevin, to move out, and he had no contact with Ruby. The police was telling Kevin about the little boy, his son, and he was just shocked. Like he
didn't quite understand.
He could not process what the police were telling him about his kids. And I felt that was very genuine, like his reaction. And the officers also felt the same. And they obviously released him as a suspect or any involvement because they didn't.
Because he proved that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He wasn't a part of it.
Had nothing.
Mistreatment of a child is a parent's responsibility. So the parents, him included, are a part of that. But
100%.
If he doesn't even have access to the children, because Jodi says he doesn't have access to the children.
Right.
And how's he supposed to
be there?
Yeah.
To protect or do anything. Yeah. So the police go back to the house again. For
with
another
a fresh set of eyes.
Another search, yes. And during this search, they find a duffel bag full of 80 grand cash in Jodi's house. They didn't find anything else at that time for the 80K, but they did arrest Jodi and Ruby.
Right.
And on 2 counts of child abuse. Each. Jodi says, as the police are kind of like taking her to the car, she tells the cop, I really want you to hear me out. And the officer's like, well, you know, you asked for a lawyer and you revoked those rights. So like out of respect, I'm not going to ask you any of these questions.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I just want you to hear me out. Those kids should never be around other kids. And so the officer, Jessica Bate, she said, well, that gave them more credibility that there was involvement.
She was a part of the reason why these kids look this way.
Yes. Yeah. And it gave them a reason to to go to jail with no bail, which was perfect.
Yeah.
Because they'd be out. And she said that they were singing hymns on the way to jail in the car together.
Yeah. Love that.
So ridiculous.
Bounded to the end.
So at this time now, like the news is going crazy at this point.
Right.
Like it's hit social media, it's hit the news.
It's out there.
People are going nutsos. When that happens, someone else comes into play. Jodi's long estranged niece named Jessie comes forward, and she claims in 2009 in Utah that she was living with Jodi, and that Jodi told her, your parents are gone, you're living here now.
Right.
And I don't know if that meant her parents passed away or what happened. Like, I tried to search to see what happened to that girl's parents or like why she was living with Jodi, and I couldn't find anything.
I think Jodi just probably convinced her brother, sister, or her parents that, you know, she was a bad teenager and
that
order
she
to
needed
set
to
her straight.
be
Jodi
there.
had the way.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that. So Jesse starts describing all the same abuse and things that these other kids have gone through that Jesse herself went through.
Right.
And, you know, the isolation, the being tied up, being convinced that you deserve these things, you know, all of this stuff, being convinced that, like, she was saying that Jodi thought that she was just like in her room all day masturbating. Right. And like doing all these like sexual devious things. And she's like, I didn't even know what those things were at that age.
She
like,
would just admit to stuff to get the abuse to stop.
Yeah.
Sad.
So sad. And Jesse did say that she tried to go to the police a few times.
But they didn't believe her.
No one believed her. And so the case was eventually dropped. Then we find out that Jodi also has 2 older kids.
Yeah, the fact
who
that
are
she had like a wife and
estranged.
kids makes sense. But the fact that like she's not intact or in touch with any of her family, and here she is throwing out life advice, life advice.
And she has no family that
She's
is
got
supporting her, backing her in
behind
any way.
her.
Yeah.
No children, no husband.
Nothing. Her older kids are estranged. They have no contact with Jodi. Jodi expresses in videos that she does have some self-worth issues. And she does write a book in 2020. I was like, 2020. I don't know why I said it like that.
It's like her memoir as to why she is the way she is.
Pretty much. And so essentially she describes her childhood of, you know, abuse and so forth. The same old story. But what was interesting that someone said, or like an expert in that behavioral realm of psychology, was that it seems like Jodi has a lot of childhood abuse and suppressed, you know, she called it complex post-trauma. And that can translate to in older years, basically that adult like reenacting the trauma as an adult.
Right.
Which makes perfect sense as to what's happening here, like based off what Jodi expressed in her book and then what she's now reenacting in her life now to these kids. And
to
like
not her kids.
Yeah. Everybody else's. So now Kevin goes into the jail for a second interview with police. And they are talking about like some of the stuff that was going on like at the show, like during the 8-passenger show.
Right.
And that one of their older sons was having like a lot of teenage issues at that time, and that Jodi had come to like live with them essentially.
Right.
During that time to straighten him out.
To set him straight.
Yep. And they still continued, you know, filming that show and so forth while stuff was coming out. And during this time, the internet, because, you know, it's out there now, and people were accusing Ruby of abuse.
Right. She's
because
like,
of the harshness.
Wacky parenting.
Yeah, because of the harshness that they were exploiting and like saying things that they were going to do on video.
Yeah, one of the little clips was that she was going to like chop off her kid's teddy bear's head if her kid didn't do something, and she like held the little thing and she's like meh, meh, and the kid's like, no. It was kind of effed up.
Yeah.
The fact, I mean, parents be parenting. Don't let me stop you from parenting your own parent style. Please don't beat your kids, leave the littles alone. But like, I mean, I get it. We all have to get creative sometimes for them to listen, but that's just offbeat, man.
Yeah.
That's not cool. And,
no, there were some things that were definitely not cool.
The part that kills me is she put it on film.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, be good to your kids, folks, please.
Yeah, no, but she was like...
The fact that she's just like, I'm going to chop off your kid's head's teddy bear. And
if
like,
you don't blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then purposefully putting it out there.
You post it as like, this is how we discipline our kids.
Like, as like a pride thing.
This
like,
is normal.
This is how we discipline our kids because, you know, this is what God says to do. This is how he says to do it. Which I don't believe that. So... the internet's going crazy about that.
Yeah, they're starting to be like, yeah, no, I knew that their parenting was wacky and their videos were effed.
So COVID starts kind of happening now. We're in 2021. Jodi's content is becoming a little bit more aggressive, as Ethan describes. And Jodi has somewhat of like a mental health crisis starting to happen.
Yeah.
And she starts seeing like shadow figures, supposedly. I'm like, is she schizophrenic?
She might be.
Like,
there seems to be a thread here.
Yeah. So then she moves in
with her clients. Another therapist no.
Yes. Not okay. Again, they're still filming the show, as we had said.
So the show switches from 8 passengers to moms of truth.
Yes.
And they're the ones dishing out like true parenting
advice.
Like messed up parenting skills, basically. Like, not stuff I'd recommend y'all follow.
No, definitely not. I would seek some other parenting advice.
Right.
When they're talking about this, the police did have a chance to interview the kids. And the little boy was very descriptive in everything that he said.
Poor thing.
Good, but sad at the same time, you know? September 13th, 2023, they go back to the house, Jodi's house again. And this is when they find the journals. As we said, they journal everything.
Everybody journals everything.
Everything. That's scary.
Because the little boy goes in and details how he was treated in those homes. And so now the detectives are going in there and they're going to be like, hey, let's look for these things.
Right.
The tiny trampoline story broke my heart.
So sad.
Yeah.
So they find the journals. In Ruby's journal, everything they've ever done to the kids was detailed in there.
She's wild. Like, why? I mean, I'm not trying to be shady, but like, why would you document this?
Because it's what God said to do. Dang. I'm going to rephrase that. It's what Jodi said to do.
That is fair. But I mean, I get it. Like in this religion, everybody likes to journal, but it's still tough to see like her vlogging about how she's parenting her kids. And then she's journaling about how she's
torturing her kids.
Well, and I mean, and I get it. That's how she thinks. That's what she thinks is normal because Jodi's telling her that's what's normal.
But like, that's wild to me.
It's
how people.
Brainwashing.
It's so brainwashing.
Yeah. But the stuff that was in the journal was messed up. Ruby's journal.
Yeah. They were both messed up. So they tortured this little boy and they made him jump on this trampoline. Those like tiny little like toddler
trampolines?
Trampolines for hours upon hours, days, nights. If he stopped or fell or something, they thought he was cheating or like was trying to be deviant in the situation. And so then he would get like more punished for that. And like Jodi would like poke him with like cactuses while he's trying to jump. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the hell?
Wild, right?
So
Not
fucking ridiculous.
Your kids.
No. And to then like also make them think that they are deserving of these punishments.
Right. You're the reason why this is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've literally done nothing wrong. Like
just little kids.
Literally
like,
just
the boy
living, like just existing.
Old.
Yeah. And the little girl was like 9. So Ruby calls Kevin from jail around this time. No, I'm sorry, hang on one second. July 15th, 2023, in the journal writing, the boy journal writing from Jodi, she had wrote that the boy had escaped in the middle of the night. So he tried to escape a few different times.
Right.
And then I just wanted to document that because he had tried a few different times and then Jodi would like freak out every time. And she had wrote like, the boy escaped in the middle of the night. I have to go find him, but like before anybody else does is basically what she is like implying.
Right.
Because
she knows these kids are in bad shape.
And the morning that the little boy did escape, she realized that he was gone and she went looking for him and officers were already dispatched to her house or to the neighbor's house,
right?
Which Jodi was not aware of. No. And she stopped one of the officers on the road going into their neighborhood and was like, hey, have you seen this little boy? And the officer was like, nope. haven't seen him. Let you know if I do.
Why don't you give me that information and I'll let you know when I find it.
Yeah. And
super
so,
smart.
yeah, very quick thinking. Yeah, which is always good. So then, Ruby calls Kevin from jail and she says, the adults just don't understand, children can be full of evil and what it takes to fight it. They don't understand what it takes to fight it. And I'm like,
oh my gosh. And the fact
I'm
that she's
sorry.
she's telling him on this phone call, oh, they're making too big of a deal of this. They're making too big of a deal of this. This is not something that...
And she's like defending Jodi. She's like, they just don't understand her. No one understands what Jodi's trying to do. And I'm like, bitch, you're fucking crazy.
Right.
Both of y'all don't understand. So Jodi talks about buying property in Arizona, and she does end up buying that property.
No.
What?
She doesn't end up buying
Oh, no, she doesn't. She
No.
talks about it.
She does. It's like a compound for
it was like
children.
a concentration camp.
Right?
That's what it looked like.
It's not it. It's not the vibes.
No. So basically, Jodi claims that the kids did things to themselves.
Yeah.
And that they didn't do any of these things.
No.
And I'm like, how?
Right.
How is that even possible?
I don't know.
Fast forward, December 2023, the attorneys offer the plea deal of 4 of 6 counts for them if they plead guilty, which they did.
Yep.
So then in February 20th, 2024, they have the sentencing hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruby's statement, she claimed that she was manipulated, seemed remorseful, seemed a little more remorseful at the sentencing hearing than she did any other time prior to that. You know what I mean? I'm not
the most remorseful when I'm caught and punished for it. Yeah.
At least she said she was sorry, unlike Jodi.
That's her kids is the thing.
Like they came out of your vagina, girl. Like you birthed them.
Mama,
like 6 of them. Like Jesus Christ. So then, Jodi says that she loves these children and hopes that they heal. Didn't admit and didn't apologize for anything.
No, and then now
the
she's
judge
using her mission
in jail.
Is in jail. She's like, well, now I can just, talk to these people and convert all of these people to the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, in jail. It's going to get you real far.
No.
She basically, the judge was like so distraught. He was like, I cannot believe the detachment that you guys have from reality of the situation is blowing my mind. And so they got sentenced to 4 to 30 years at the discretion of the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole. So essentially, I don't really know what that means, but they can't serve more than 30 years.
Okay.
But
Still
I don't
not
know,
long enough.
like Utah's very strange in their legal system as well, because everything that I was reading, even after the fact, like had stated that after everything. So I don't know what the Board of Pardons and Parole is in Utah, what they do.
Right, what they're...
But it was like stamped on everything after like their sentence reading on the shit that I read on the internet. Oh. Jodi says she had read a Bible passage and she said, I'm happy to go to prison. I'll teach the gospel in prison. Okay, you do that. Kevin ends up divorcing Ruby in November 2023 and has full custody of the minor children.
Right.
Which is great.
Good for him.
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that a responsible adult has custody.
Thank God. And they're, seeking therapy and so forth.
Right.
There is another documentary out. I'll drop the name right here. That does talk about like the family side of this whole story and not so much Jodi, which I didn't watch. But the older daughter of
Kevin and Ruby.
Yeah, Sherry. She wrote that it was, when they got sentenced and everything, she had wrote on her social media that it was a big day in justice for their family because they had been telling police and CPS for years. And she said it was nice that they finally stepped up.
For years? She has been oh my. Okay, we need to cut this. I'm mad.
There's a lot of like controversy on the family side of it. I'm kind of curious to see what the family documentary is about.
Yeah, same.
And I kind of want to do a little bit more research on the Sherry daughter. She's the oldest estranged one from the family. And
from Ruby and Kevin, not because I'm curious about Jodi's kids.
Yeah, so Sherry is from the older
8
daughter
passengers.
of yeah. And so she like even was like
Kevin.
she hated that their whole life was on social media and on camera and filmed, and she has a very interesting perspective of it.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to like, just
Check
hear
it
more
out.
about it.
Right.
Also the people, this is just some back information that I found after the show. The people on the internet that were accusing Ruby of abuse and harsh parenting. In 2020, there was about 18,000 viewers there's about 18,000 viewers that signed the petition to investigate the family.
And it still didn't happen.
And no, they allegedly interviewed the kids for over 2 hours in that family, and they dropped the case. Didn't find anything. Isn't that crazy?
Whoa. So she's trying to get the cops to pay attention to them. They do. They grill the family for 2 hours, and then they're like, nothing to see here. Just parents parenting their kids. That's wild. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. So we lost both of our individual cameras. So
Sorry,
we're
guys.
back here on the wide.
Hi.
We are gonna get that fixed very soon. Just
You have
gotta
to.
just
You
gotta
wanna
wait.
See this face close.
These long episodes will make our cameras work too hard.
Too hard, folks. But thanks for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you guys for watching. If you like this episode, please make sure to comment below. Tell us something interesting that you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
From truth or lies, we'll call it out. They whisper gossip, but we shout. Pop culture queens and headphones clear. Girl, did you hear what's